Hi, today I'm going to show you the two types of NPCs I currently have in the game. I might make more, but I probably won't. I'll probably just work on refining these ones because they could, well, I wouldn't say they could do with it, but it's always best to improve things, I would say. So, the two types of NPCs I have now are the static and the walking. The static NPCs, they don't move, they only rotate around, but they can fall, which means they're affected by gravity, which means they're affected by gravity shifting. So, you can move them around with gravity shifting, but you have to move them around, and that might lead to some pretty interesting battles. Might. Who knows? And I'll also be showing you the audio I've added to the game as well. Now, previously I said I think I could only have like a maximum of 3 sounds playing at any given time. After running the numbers a bit and doing a bit of counting, it's actually 5. But I decided to use only 4 because, well, not SDL, but the Evercade may want a thread that's completely empty. I'm not entirely sure about that. I don't do console development. This is my first time doing console development, but just in case, we'll have a thread that is devoid of being used by this process. But we will use 4 just for plain sounds. Each folder is for a different thread. This one is for thread 0. That one I think it's for thread 1. This is for thread 2. And that's for thread 3. So, without further ado, let's actually show you the NPC though. So, what's it called? Static NPC, they don't move at all, like I said. They can only shoot at you, but like you, they can only shoot in 90-degree axes. So, on the X and Y, pretty much. Which means when you're standing at a horizontal of them, they can't do pretty much anything. But if I do walk in front of them, then they are going to shoot me. Which is pretty nice. It does make the AI a bit simple, but still, pretty nice. And like I said, they can be moved around using gravity shifting. And yeah. And then when they die, they would emit a pile of massive bloody particles that will stain the floor forever. But currently, there is no particle system, so that's not happening at the moment. They just disappear. And here's me shooting the gun. And I'm sure you already heard the gravity shifting sound, but in case you haven't. And the sounds do vary a bit. In case you've only just noticed that, there is variation to them. There is, however, no variation to the walking sound. In case you noticed that as well. It always stays the same. So, now that we showed you that NPC, let's show you the walking NPC. Now, I want to preface this before we actually run the game with this NPC in. Currently, there is no diversion triggers which help the AI or the NPC understand where it can and can't go. What way is the best way to reach its target? It's basically like asking an AI to navigate without a nav mesh in Unity. It can't really be done unless you're really pushing things and ignoring warnings and throwing barriers out of the window, and then you can get to do it, but the second you put a wall in its way, it's just going to stop, basically. It's not going to try and navigate around it. But obviously, that will be changed if walking AIs or the AIs I'm going to add to this level. I don't think I will though. So let's show you that. Because I think this level's best for the non-walking AIs. As you can see, it just stops. It should go into an idle animation where it just stands there, but for some reason it doesn't do that. Oh yeah, you can kill it by shooting it. Also, originally, I will say this, the health bar for the player, it used to only be on the player. The code for it used to only exist in the player. So what I did to get around that issue is I made it so that it exists within the, what's it called, house system class object thing, which has the benefit of making it so that everything can access it, but that class doesn't do rendering. It doesn't support it. So you have to take the function that will render the health bar and use it in your own rendering function, which is weird. And it's not the weirdest thing, but it's weird. Means you can't have invisible AIs unless you're like explicitly going out of the way to say, actually I want an invisible AI and I want it to only render this health bar, but it's a bit much of a nonsense. However, it does make it really usable by other AIs and NPCs and players and all that. Also, we can't change the colours of it now, which means everyone's stuck with the same health bar. Which is bad because it makes it harder for the player to stand out. And they both exactly had the same health bar and all that. But it's something that can be worked on. If need be, I can just make another rendering function for drawing the version of the health bar which the player would have, and that'll probably be some blue kind of colour scheme. I like the colour blue a lot. But I don't think it's much of an issue. I don't think any of it's much of an issue. We're not planning on having invisible NPCs. That would be a bit too much. But yeah. And that's it. Goodbye, I guess. I'm really tired. And it's only 11 AM. Oh yeah, I've got to pause the video. Actually, I'll close the thing first, and then I'll pause the video. Not pause. End, Cal. End the video. This button. Here. Click it. Why aren't you clicking it? Oh my god, Cal, you need to slap yourself in the face.